bunny push pops.
Let's see what's cooking. Let's get the facts. Let's see what's cooking. It's time for yoyomax12.
Now the basis of this recipe is a white cake. I'm using a white cake mix out of a box, but you can also use a from scratch cake recipe. That's completely up to you. Prepare it according to package or recipe directions, and then I divided it up into 3 equal portions because I wanted 3 different colors of cake. I tinted each portion using some gel food color, and I tinted one pink, one green, and one purple because I wanted spring-like or Easter-like colors, and I blended the colors in. And then you need to place it into some baking dishes that allow you to have the proper depth of batter. You want this cake to be very thin. So what I did is I put them in these baking dishes, but I made sure that the batter was only a little under 1/4 of an inch thick. And you can see how thin the batter is in those pans. Now you see me squeezing it into the pans with a Ziploc bag. The reason I use a Ziploc bag is I also use the same cake batter for another video, and you'll see that a little bit later on. Bake it according to package directions or recipe directions. It'll take a little less time to bake, of course, because it's so much thinner. Let it cool completely. Now you do need some specialized equipment to make these. You'll need these plastic push pops. Now I found these at the Sears HomeSense store. I've also seen them online as well as on eBay, and they were about $1 a piece. This package came with 6 in them. They're fairly pricey, but they are reusable. And this is what they look like. It's basically a plastic cylinder with a plunger in it, and it has a cap on the top. Basically you put the cake in frosting, and when people eat it, they just push it from the bottom, and then they slowly eat it as it comes out. This one, the cap is interesting because you can put the push part in the cap and it holds it straight up and down. So it's a lot easier to serve that way. And if you transport them, it has a cap so you can cover the tops. So there you go. Now you need to cut your cake into little circles that will fit inside the plastic push pop. So you need to make circles that are just a tiny bit smaller than the push pop itself. And I found this circle cutter that was a perfect size for that. I cut up all my cake into little circles. Now as far as all those scrap pieces of cake, what I do with them is I throw them in a Ziploc bag, put them in the freezer, and then I've got some cake ready to make cake pops with on another day. Cake freezes very well. Now for the assembly. You're going to take your plastic push pop. You're going to add one of those discs of cake, and you can see it needs to be just a bit smaller. Add a little bit of frosting. I'm using plain buttercream frosting, and the recipe for the frosting that I used will be in the About section below. A little bit more frosting and another disc of cake, and so on right to the top. And when you get to the top, I decided to decorate it with a little marshmallow peep bunny. I just cut part of it off and then placed it into the cake pop so it looks like the bunny's coming out of a little hole in the ground. And then I added some additional sprinkles on the top just as a decoration. And that is the completed push pop. I really like the way these push pops turned out. Now a downside to these is their availability. Not everyone's going to be able to find these plastic push pops where they live, and buying them online might be really, really expensive. But keep in mind they are reusable, so it might be worth your while if you want to make them for a party. Just make sure you get them all back so you can wash them and use them again. So if you'll notice this little bunny here, I actually only put 2 layers on that one because I wanted to make sure the bunny was low enough to be able to put the cap on. So you just need to alter the height of them depending on if you need to transport them somewhere in order to serve them. Hope you give them a try. Here's another fun recipe you might want to try. These are little Easter cakes baked up right inside of a real eggshell. So when people open them up, they get a really nice surprise. If you want to see the video, go ahead and click right on your screen or see the link in the About section below. Thank you for watching.